Look at this. I got headphones on. I got a mic going. Baby.
If
Huh?
only people could see you now.
Hey, no video. We've gone through this before.
All right,
No
all right,
video.
all right. Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world.
Hi guys, thanks for joining us today. Slightly different episode today. We did a CHFA focused episode, and what you're about to hear is a quick conversation with Aaron Skelton, who leads CHFA. We're going to see him at the show. He was gracious enough to come on and hang out with us. And then the second half of this you're going to hear is from Hayden from the Pack Heavy podcast. We jumped on a call with him. He's going to be at the show as well. And we thought we'd just have a chat about what we're planning to do with the show, and then how he sees things a little bit different than us, because he does, and we're always smarter once we've talked to him. So a little bit different today. So the front half is going to be Aaron, the back half will be Hayden, and and if you can't tell, we're excited. We're super excited to be at the CHFA show next week. So if you're going to be there, definitely drop us a note. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us what booth you'll be in. We'll try and get you into an episode, or at least log your details in the episode, and then Kenny and I will be around. We'd love to be able to say hello in person. All right, that's what you're about to hear. Awesome. So we have Aaron Skelton with us today. Aaron's been on before, but we're super excited because last week we talked about Kenny and I getting the opportunity, and this is the man who opened that door, is Kenny and I are going to the CFHA show, and we're going to get a chance to record live there. So we thought what we'd do is just grab Aaron and have him give us the down low on the show coming up. He looks very calm for a guy who's got a show coming up in a couple of weeks. But we, thank you for taking the time to do this with us. We know you got lots of stuff going on, but
yeah, it doesn't have to be long. You got kids too, you got other things going on.
Yeah,
so
you got stuff.
You just tell us when it's
time to cut it. Life is a juggling act. That's what we do. Yeah. No, we had so much fun last time. We've been trying to find a reason to get back together ever since. So really excited to have you guys at CHFA now in Vancouver. There's a little bit of pent up excitement, right? It's been 2 years. Totally. This is one of the things that I think us as an association we're always really proud of, something we could deliver to the community to bring people together. And I'll tell you, internally, the team is just just so excited to be able to sort of relaunch these things back in person and try to ramp our game up, right? I mean, it was always a great element that we did. But there's always ways to improve. And so the team's worked really hard to try to find some creative ways to bring a little bit more excitement to something that people often have great memories of. And I think that's exciting for us and for the community.
This is 3 years, right? 2019 was our last, or we didn't do 2020 live.
2020 Vancouver was live.
I'm trying to remember.
It would have been late February.
Right on the cusp. Yeah.
Right on the cusp.
That's you know what it was, because we were in Florida.
Yeah.
I missed Vancouver because I was at in the pet show. That's why I remember. Jesus, that's a long time though.
Wait, did you just tell Aaron we were at a different trade show?
Well, I was booked differently. It was tough. What are you gonna do?
Well, Kenny, this is why we booked you to be a podcast presenter, so that you have to come.
I love this show.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's funny because we talked to Hayden last night, right? Because he's pretty stoked to come on too, right?
Yeah.
Like he's so stoked because we're all pretty thrilled to be invited. Like seriously, I always loved this show, right? And I was telling Hayden like how much I remember, like it was like a couple hundred tables, and now it's blowing up to I don't know how many tables there are now, but like it's gone from like this little thing to like a huge thing.
Yeah.
And so I've talked to so many people and they're ready to go. Like there's so many people ready to go.
Just so you know, Aaron, Kenny's gonna run around hugging everybody. He'll probably like people he doesn't know. He's gonna be like bear hugs all the way through the show. So
you better believe it.
I'm lining up first, Kenny. You can come find me first.
Anytime you want. We see you the day before the trade show opens. That's the first hug.
So you're talking about the number of booths and attendees this time. So we're pretty excited. I mean, we're cusping over 760 different brands that are presenting.
That's awesome.
So like it is such a large group that's sort of come forward and is excited about it. We've got over 1,200 so far. So still 2 weeks to go. 1,200 retailers that have signed up as attendees.
Wow.
I think something like 80+% of those actually have buying authority within their organization. So like a really qualified group of people that are attending. And then we've alluded to it, but you guys are coming down. Hayden's coming down. We've got Mark Samuelson from iWant's coming in and doing his podcast. And the idea behind that was you guys do such great work in bringing to the larger audience some of the things that are happening within the industry. And one of the elements that we would have talked about in the last show was creating a bit of a hub for CHFA to be able to connect people. And we thought, what's a better way than to bring your voices to the show floor? Have a chance for people to see what you guys do, what the other great podcasters do, hear from you, and really make it more of an engagement. Podcasts are great, go on a walk, put your headphones in, but there's something great about seeing the people that are doing it and giving you guys an opportunity to connect.
Are you kidding me, man? We're stoked
every day.
Oh yeah, right? We're stoked.
We joked about it last night. I was so
excited when I got the email. I thought, you're kidding, right?
Yeah.
This is awesome, man.
We joked about it because we've got 229 episodes under our belt. And we probably have met these people. We probably met like 10 of them in real life.
right.
So well, but I do think, like, joking aside, I think there's easily over 100 guests that are going to be, if not more, they're going to be at the show.
Yeah. So I think that opportunity to bring people together in person, which we've all missed, is great. And then we're just layering on some pretty impressive conference material, right? We've got a retail panel, so a mix of different sizes of retailers coming in to talk about some challenges that we've all been sort of going through over the last couple of years. And so let's learn from each other and tease some of those thematics out. We've got a supply chain panel that's going to come and talk about some of the challenges that are happening. What are the best practices? How can people overcome some of these things? We've got an organic panel. So Tia from Coda's coming in to spearhead that, and Ian Walker from West Coast is going to play a big role in that.
Yeah, I saw Ian's on LinkedIn. He's all pretty stoked up too, right?
He's
such a good guy.
Organics, you better have a few hours because he has a few things to say, right? And then some really cool experiential stuff. Like Ian's taken a group out on a cycling ride around Stanley Park, right? Like we're in Vancouver.
No way.
It's in April. Like let's find some stuff to go do outside. So yes, there's going to be the indoor, the booth, the experiences, the podcasting we're talking about, but we're also doing things outside the show. Tallgrass is resurrecting their Tallgrass party.
The legendary party.
Yes. This year it's actually at the aquarium. So as Matt Breach likes to say, you got to go party with the fishes. I think they've got some. What did he say the other day? There's actually a mermaid club of BC or Vancouver. And they actually have mermaids coming in to swim in the aquariums as the party's going.
Why would Matt
I don't know what
that?
That's going to look like.
And why would Matt know that? Like, why would he know that?
Kenny, some things you just don't ask.
Really?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
You just kind of nod your head and go.
That's a wow. Like, really?
Yeah. So it's pulling all these things back together that we've been missing out on and trying to layer some value added things on top. And I just think, you guys said you've been hearing the excitement. I obviously do a lot of calls with members as well. And just that opportunity for people to get together is something that everyone has missed. So
sort of what we talked about last night, Aaron, I don't think people understand like our industries. Like, I mean, if you tell somebody, I work in CPG, first off, they don't know what the hell it is. If you tell me you work in the natural side, they really don't know what it is. Like, what does natural mean and all this? But they don't understand, like, it's a funny community. It's a large community. It's spread out, it's diverse, but it's very tight.
It is.
People are really excited to see people. It's true. It really is true. Like, it's a bizarre industry that way.
Well, I think when your definition of family is those who look out and care for each other, then there's no better definition for what this industry is. And even you guys, just hearing your comments about, connecting with Hayden and doing some co-stuff with him, like you guys both have podcasts, but you're both in it to do the same thing, to bring value and insights to the community. So it's not a competition.
Nope.
I mean, everyone does
There's
feel
lots of
like,
room, man. There's lots of room for everybody to play.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's just make this pie bigger. And I think you see the diversity that comes to these shows. We've resurrected Incubator Alley to get some sightline to the brands that maybe haven't cusped over yet.
Right.
We're going pretty big with Launchpad, which is one of my favorite events that we do. So like, let's get some people up on stage. Let's hear what their businesses are all about. Let's hear what their plans are. And we've got Charles Chang, who I'm sure you guys are familiar with, ex-Vega, Lyra now. Shelley King is coming in from NPC, so Natural Products Canada, which is really exciting.
That's cool.
So it's just a really interesting group that's going to be on stage for Launchpad as well. So I think you can tell in my voice. It's 2 weeks out. The stress level is getting high, but it's also the excitement of being.
No, it's all excitement, man. Like it's going to be cool. It's just going to be great to see people.
And also to say we're talking ahead of this. I've been on sort of a partial parental leave for the last 3 months. I'm looking forward to getting some sleep, guys.
With nobody poking you, prodding you.
I want to have a monitor beside me to wonder.
Oh my God!
In the middle of the night.
Listen, you could do the tall grass party and still get sleep and still be more rested.
I will look 100%. More rested by the end of the show than I did at the beginning. And I don't think I could ever say that before.
That's funny. It's either that or you'll get there and you can't sleep. You know why? Because you'll be waking up every minute. Okay, did I hear that? What's going on?
True.
Why is it so quiet in here? Where is everybody?
Yeah.
I'm like a Pavlovian dog with anything that goes off. It's like, is that the baby? Is that the baby?
Baby.
So I'm thrilled that you guys are joining us. Thanks so much, because I know we're kind of putting things together last minute.
It's all good, man.
I'm very excited.
Whatever.
Whatever. Honestly, it's Lynn. I think we're gonna have to buy her a present or something. I think we've done nothing but give her heart attacks, right? Because she was like, "So there's room." We're like, "Yeah." So we don't actually plan anything. So we're hoping that we have like 1 million guests come by the booth, and she's like, "There's only room for 2. What are we gonna do?" I'm like,
relax.
"Don't worry, just chill, relax." She's like, "Oh my God!" Right? So
we'll figure it out.
You always do, guys. You always do.
We'll figure it out.
Awesome.
Well, thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We'll let you go. So you know.
Yeah, go do daddy stuff.
We know dad.
That's important stuff.
The monitor is going off, and so child services doesn't show up.
I should
go pick her up.
It's time to go.
Okay, do your thing.
All right.
We'll post
Thanks, Aaron,
and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
I appreciate it, guys. All the best.
Okay. Take care,
buddy. Take care, man.
Bye.
Bye, Aaron.
Ciao. Well, it's going to be a good show.
He's cool.
It's going to be a good show.
I love it. He's so excited.
You know what's cool about it is this? It's like in every industry, right?
Yeah.
All the people that got it to the stage before Aaron did a remarkable job. And then he takes it to a little different direction. And then there'll be a day when Aaron goes and the new person will come in and game change it and take it to a different level. So it just gets better all the time. Like the actual organization is much more relevant than it probably has been for a while. It's attracting more people. The show's going to be cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a big deal.
It's awesome, man. It's just going to be I mean, after we hung up with Hayden last night, it's the same thing. I'm thinking like, wow, it's been a couple years. It's going to be really cool to see people. I think there's going to be there's going to be 700 some brands, almost 800 brands.
Yeah.
It's going to be good, eh?
Yeah, it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be so fun. And then I mean, look, if you haven't heard us say it before, if you're going to go to the show, come say hi. You'll see us. We at some point we've ordered some shirts, so you'll see us in This Commerce Life shirts.
I got to flip shirts because I ordered the shirts for Old Growth Beverages from the same place.
Oh, no way. Okay, got it.
So I was going to ask you if you want, maybe just let them know. I might go pick them up, both orders next week.
Okay.
Because we'll be branded.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I know it's going to be. This is the most organized we've ever been. So
this is planned.
But this is almost planned. Dare I say it? Almost planned.
It's planned. Well, at least the shirts were planned. I mean, we're going to the show. That's planned.
Yeah.
Right? You booked the plane ticket. Like, this is overly planned. Like, we're just killing it.
We're planned. Yeah.
Wow. No, it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really good.
What goes? There we go.
Got it.
Yeah. So we aren't bringing anyone to the show. We figure we're gonna just riff about what we're seeing at the show.
trends that we see. And then what we've done is we've started to just ping people in our, that have been on the show that'll be at the show as well, and just said, listen, come by on Sunday. We're going to be there. And, so poor Lynn, we kind of said, is there room for like a floating guest? And that kind of made her go, what? I'm like,
well, we told her, listen, we don't really, it's not like we have anything planned. It's
no. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to bring an extra mic and an extra hookup, and then, probably run an extra, like I have an extra long cord, so I'll probably just run it, and then people can show up and talk for a second or two or whatever, and then we'll just figure out.
Or not, or maybe we'll just do the podcast and we'll just talk about what we saw at the show. I have no idea, but I mean, I'm working the show. I've got a booth that I'm doing with my buddy. So we're doing that, and then I mean, I think for both of you, because I mean, I'm going to walk where I can, but I think it's just looking for maybe the cool, the new. I mean, but we end up with the same people on both of our podcasts.
No, I know there's a lot
Does
of
it really matter?
No, I'm excited. It was when Lindsay reached out and said, hey, there's an opportunity, are you interested? I'm like, I'm not going to say no. Like, of course I am. Let's do this.
That's what we said.
But it was hard to come up with a title for the interview and a bit of a blurb, especially with it being so far out. I'm like, okay, like what do people actually want to listen to? So I the title of the interview that I'm landed on was The Explosive Growth of Natural and Organic and What That Means for Your CPG. And interviewing Richard Pollock, which will be great because he's a master storyteller. Like he's amazing. And he's well-versed. He's been involved in the CHFA for years. So I thought, let's bring him back on and let's just pick his brain. So I think that we're just going to discuss sort of the continued and accelerated growth of the natural and organic segment and what that means for the CPG market and, get some insights from him because I will be there on the Saturday. So I won't have the pleasure of sort of walking the floor before we chat. Okay. But I think that, regardless, I think that it'll be a really fun time and it'll be interesting to sort of see how it goes. I
think it's going to be fantastic. So you're going Saturday. Okay. Are you doing the food execs lunch on the Friday?
I haven't. No, I haven't accepted an invite to that. As in, like, I didn't even know it was on, to be honest. I should look into it.
Well, Aaron is
Skelton?
It's the guest speaker at lunch.
Okay. I didn't realize.
I got Phil a guest pass.
Yeah.
So if you haven't got, because you're a member of Food Execs.
I'm not a member. No, I haven't actually formally got a membership yet. But what I should do is I should just ping them a message and just see if I should come along. I'd be happy to buy a ticket. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to see Aaron talk. He was a guest on the show as well, and we had a great conversation.
Isn't he? Yeah. And that's I think that's why when we got the invite, we both thought like, oh shit, man, this is awesome.
Yeah, this
is really cool. This is it's in our hometown. We love going to CHFA. We didn't go to Expo. This is the first time in 20 years I didn't go to Expo. Well, the last 2 years have been closed, but I mean, I didn't go. So I'm actually really excited to see everybody and see what's going on and, catch up with old friends. I mean, that's the beauty of the show though. It's funny. It's a show that as cool as the stuff is, it's more to see the people you haven't seen in a while.
Come on, we're actually going to be able to see people live.
I love it. Like shake hands. I know, have a face-to-face conversation.
Easy now. Shake hands.
Shake
now
hands.
You want to hug? Like, come on. I'm going.
I don't care.
Case by case scenario, I think.
If they come up hacking up a lung, I'm not going to hug them. If they're not hacking up a lung, I'm going for the hugs.
Let's go. I think we've got to bring it back to that sort of level of personal. I'm excited for it. And you're absolutely right. Like I record this podcast over Zoom. Like I haven't had a face-to-face conversation. And so it'll be awesome to actually go out and, introduce myself formally to a lot of the guests that I've had on. So I'm thrilled to have that experience as well. It'll be great.
I think it's fantastic.
And so what time are you recording on Saturday?
Yeah, so I've got the details here. So my podcast slot goes from 11 until 12. Yeah, so I've got the hour on Saturday, April 23rd.
So I'll be there. I'll come by and whatever you want to do with it, I'll take some pictures and
awesome. Thank
footage.
you.
Why not, right? And then if you use it, you don't. You ensure your
I
kids
appreciate
one day.
that. No, thank you. Yeah, I know exactly. Cool. No, it is very cool. So thank you for the opportunity to chat here this evening as well. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, for me, I went and I've done some digging on sort of the CHFA, and I had that conversation with Aaron as well regarding the history. And I didn't realize that the CHFA was formed in 1964, which was well before the adoption, like the mainstream adoption of natural and organic.
Really?
And if you think of like how far that segment has come to where it is here in 2022, where you would absolutely consider it to be a mainstream adoption right now. Like, and I think Aaron threw out a stat where 50% of households in Canada consume an organic or natural product weekly. Like that's how ingrained it is in our lives. Yeah.
It's that high now, 50%.
Yeah. And I pulled up some stats as well, which was really cool.
That's really cool.
The CHFA represents more than 1,000 business owners and operators within an industry that contributes more than 3.5 billion to the Canadian economy. The other really cool one was, okay, so if you actually dig back to sort of when things started to shift in the natural organic segment, when I was doing my research online, it really occurred, and Kenny, you'd probably have some insight there, and Phil too, back in the early 2000s. And the real sort of like the what seemed to be like the crossroads and when it sort of really took off was in 2002, when the USDA adopted national standards for organic products. So that sort of really sort of like solidified things. And then in 2003, Whole Foods became America's first nationally certified grocer, which is obviously a big deal as well. And then in 2009, the world's first reciprocal agreement between two countries to trade organic produce was signed between the USA and Canada. And then shortly after, in 2010, the US surpassed Europe as the largest market for organic products in the world. So like, if you think about it, all sort of started in that early 2000s to sort of land where we are right now. And then here we are in 2022 and things aren't slowing down. And I went and I found a couple of really good websites. One was the Nutrition Business Journal. And it stated that, and we're talking about the USA now. So the natural organics industry in the USA passed 250 billion in consumer sales in 2020 with a compound annual growth rate of 8% over 10 years, which is pretty awesome.
Insane.
Considering the size. Yeah. And I thought it'd be interesting to look at the US market because it's just like blows us out of the water.
Yeah.
And here we are. So they're like, if they look at where we're currently trending in the US, sales are expected to surpass 300 billion by 2024. So it's just gone nuts, especially, you know, since those early days back in early 2000, and you go right back to 1964 when the association was formed. You know, they really needed the sort of the support of an association, I would assume, you know, just to sort of, you know, group together and, you know, have like-minded people to sort of discuss, you know, business with.
You know, it's funny though, and Aaron will probably tell you the same, because Aaron came more from our side. Like when I remember when I first started going to Expo.
Yeah.
So this is like 2000, 2001. I think 2000 was the first time I went. And I told Phil the story before. I mean, when we used to go, because we were mass, right? We weren't the natural channel, we were drug. We were one of the few Canadian retailers that was going. Like I was one of the few buyers that was down there. Me and Mario would go.
Yeah.
There was at least half the show that would not talk to us. Have no interest in selling to us because we were the side of the devil. Like we had no business being in that show. And there was probably 3 or 4 years of going to that show before we actually started buying stuff, before like some of these people would start selling.
You didn't tell me this story.
Oh God. Yeah. Cool. It was unbelievable. I would have to, you know what do you want from me? Like, tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. I won't slash the price. I won't put it on ad. I'll go higher than Whole Foods. Like, what do you want me to do?
And they're like,
and I would be happy to do.
Don't look in the evil retailer's eyes.
And they wouldn't do it. So it took years. Wow. And I think when I finally took over food at London, I think it was 2009.
Yeah.
When Bill retired, is when I took it over, and I went from, like, I remember it was a 4-foot or an 8-foot coffee and tea set. And overnight I put it to 16. I listed ethical and kicking. And that's sort of what it became. Like, so when you're talking, Hayden, when you're going back, the CHFA in 1964, it really didn't hit mainstream probably till 2009, 2010. Mainstream can't, and it's because their association, all they did was talk to themselves. Right. Which is great, because thank God they do that, because that's where it all starts. But they had to sort of let all of us animals in, because we had the majority of the consumer shopping in our stores. Right. And then it really exploded. Right. And then, you know, Kellogg's bought Kashi, That was one of the first,
okay.
Yeah,
the
I remember
granola.
that.
Yeah,
I
and then
remember that.
a Balance Bar,
Yeah.
Kraft bought them, and Kellogg's and Kraft, between the two,
Well,
they both
it
fucked
was
up
the
those
cashew
companies.
thing, right? Like as soon as cashew went, it's like the light bulb went off in everybody's head, right? And everyone went, "Oh shit!"
Really,
Like,
there's something
we're
about
asleep.
this,
Like
right?
if these guys are buying it, they're making a move, and then all of a sudden to an extent, the CPG industry is still like that, but as soon as they did that, everyone else went, "Oh, I've got to look around. Like I've got to find someone, right?" And then I think Unilever bought somewhere in there. They bought Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah.
Right, and that's run Clorox.
Kraft bought Balance Bar.
Clorox bought Burt's Bees.
Someone bought
I
Zone.
think is in there. Yeah, they're all in that. Do you know, like it was like as soon as it was the Kashi. You're right though, because Kashi, as soon as Kashi
was sort of that first big one, and that was the one where the natural
we've all got to be in this. Yeah,
right.
That's
but
really
natural
interesting.
hated it, because the big devil came in and bought one of them. Like they hated it.
They bought a really beloved brand too, right?
Like Kashi, and it was a good product. They did, and Kashi was pretty up on the up and up, and then Kellogg's kind of screwed that up a bit, obviously. But anyway, but it was Hayden. I'm telling you, man, they would not talk to you. Like they would not talk to you because they didn't need us screwing up their market.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you go into a retail store now, like a grocery store, like Canadian Superstore, for example, and they've got a couple of aisles that are dedicated to organic. Yeah.
Never understood that.
Well, I was wondering at what stage or at what point did you guys start to notice that these areas were starting to get larger and larger, within the retail world, like where they would dedicate sections, like you go into the produce section.
2013, 2014.
Was it? Okay.
2015.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere in there. And even it still doesn't make any sense. Like if you think about it, if you want to convert people, so if I'm Loblaws, I definitely want people buying more Kashi than Kellogg's, because forget Kashi, Nature's Path, because their products are $4.99, $5.99, 300-gram box, and people are happy as pigs and shit to buy it.
Yeah.
Where a box of Rice Krispies is 700 grams, and nobody's buying it unless it's $2.99. So immediately, why would you not want to move every box of cereal that's natural into the conventional aisle right beside who it's knocking off? Immediately.
It's also a simpler. It's a simpler merchandising story as well, right? Kenny and I talk about this a lot, I think, right? Because we talked about this when we had folks like Daya on and Nature's Path, right? Because you start looking at the vegan and the gluten-free is probably a really good example, right?
That's one of the big ones.
It started and it was a little 2-foot set inside a freezer, right? And tucked away in the bottom corner of the specialty freezer section. And now gluten-free isn't its own set. It's where everything else is. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where you really get it, because it's no longer a thing, right? And so everyone can have gluten-free and it's fine. And in fact, now people look at it and go, it's actually kind of delicious. I like it. I like it gluten-free, right? So,
which is why I feel I don't like the separate sets in the stores, because I tell you the truth, if we look at it from a greater level, right? An organic product is, if you think what certification is all about, it's really, you're not polluting the product. You're not growing it in a bad way to screw up the planet. So your fertilizers, how you do things, how you pick it, all that stuff gets built. So it's not that the food is necessarily better or more tasty. It's a better way to do it, right? That's just how you should grow. So if you think about it as retailers, it's almost like it should be like built in an obligation that you have to society as at large to get more people buying organic. The more people that buy organic, the less shit we have on our water tables, in our soils, in the air, screwing up bees or birds or whatever it is. So that's why it drives me nuts when they still do these aisles. Put the goddamn stuff next to the other stuff. Give people an immediate choice so they can say, if you want to buy Rice Krispies, buy Rice Krispies. I love Rice Krispies. I love Special K. Buy them. I could care less. But there's sometimes alternatives. It might be organic, maybe not. Maybe it's a gluten-free option. Maybe it's something else. I don't care what they have on it, but why not?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Why make it complicated for people to buy this stuff?
Yeah, well, this sort of ties into another couple of things. So when I was trying to, really dig into what was driving the growth, there seemed to be three common factors. The first one is that consumers are demanding clean label ingredients to meet their healthier lifestyle. So you could think of it like paleo, keto, vegan, for example. So that's driving it. There's an element of innovation, but it's not the biggest factor of growth. There's also another one, which is, regenerative and, better farming practices. So like you were saying, soil and water health, and also the health of the population. In coffee, it was really interesting because Salt Spring Coffee, just like Ethical Bean, was certified organic, and they would only have certified organic green come into the roastery. And, at the end of the day, when you're roasting the coffee, because it's roasting at such a high temperature, there's never going to be any fertilizer or residues left over in the final product. So that's not the concern. So, when we were digging into it and when we were discussing it with our clients and, B2B and, also the consumers as well, the conversation was all around better farming practices. You've got kids running around their farms that they're growing up in. You don't want them covered in pesticides. You want to ensure that, they're farming in a responsible manner, and that the soil and the water and the bees are, like you just suggested, it's a healthy ecosystem. So I think that, it was a great business choice for Salt Spring Coffee and these coffee roasters to sort of continue down the path, because in a lot of people's minds, even fruit, like I'll buy organic bananas and oranges and apples, for example. And, there are some people out there and they're like, why would you buy organic bananas? Like, you're peeling the peel off, like you're not going to get it. Like, it's not going to be bad for your health. That's not the point. Exactly. Like they're kind of missing the point. So it really is interesting to sort of see what consumers focus on. But yeah, it is good to sort of see this segment growing year over year. And,
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, like a lot of these trends are continuing in Canada as well. The Canadian Organic Trade Association just released their latest paper, their latest report on trends in the organic agriculture industry in September last year. And there are a couple of interesting stats there too. So Canada's organic market in general has expanded, with Canadians spending $8.13 billion in organic. So, I mean, that's a fraction of the $250 billion in the US, right?
Yeah.
But it's still something. Snacks across Canada saw a 19% growth in sales, with 44 million in total organic sales in snacks. And snacks are also expected to see a 29% growth over the coming 3 years. And also Canadian organic exports are growing at a rate of, they've been growing since 2019 at a rate of 32%.
Wow.
So there's a lot of growth. And I think that's really exciting for these business owners and operators and entrepreneurs that are entering into this space, because it means the pie is big. It means that consumers are engaged. They understand it. They don't need to educate there, so they can focus on other things. I think that's awesome.
It's so easy now.
Yeah.
Like when we first started, it was definitely tougher because the premium we were having to do was in that 30, 40, 50% premium. We got no choice because the costs were so much higher.
Yeah.
Because they just weren't making enough of it.
Yeah. Yields.
Now you look at it, you're spot on with most conventional products. Like you are. Like we just finished saying, it's just definitely better for you. And those numbers you got to be careful too, because like our teas, for example, all of our ingredients are organic. We're just not certified.
Yeah.
All my ingredients are certified organic, and I can give you the paperwork on all of it. But because our plant is not certified and we haven't done it, just means I'm not certified. So all the teas we sell are organic. They're not in that number. So that number is even skewed down a bit because there's so much other product out there that, can be stated organic, but we can't make the claim. Because we just don't have the certification for it.
Yeah. And you could sort of tie that into the coffee growing industry as well, because there are a lot of producers back in origin that cannot afford these certifications.
Well, the fair trade or the organic.
Exactly. But they're still producing very, very high quality coffee that just doesn't necessarily have the certification behind it. Like there are some biodynamic farmers coming out of Nicaragua that are producing some of the highest quality, amazing coffee in the world. And at the end of the day, they're not bothering with those certifications because they've got direct trade relationships with a lot of these coffee roasters anyway that are bringing it out and buying the vast majority of their coffee. So it is an interesting business decision, but I totally understand it.
Well, I just think people need to be aware of that. So again, I mean, the easiest way to buy these obviously is look for the certification.
Yeah,
like that you should. I mean, what the hell? It's there. Look for it, but learn how to read a package. Turn it over. Like you can't claim organic unless it is. You can't state things are organic unless they are. And if you don't think they are, then, we should say something because it's misleading. But, buddy, I mean, I'm amazed at how big this industry's gotten. I remember the first time I went to expos. Have you been expo, Hayden?
No, never. No, and you know what? I apart from the CHFA, I went to Planted last year, which was great, Planted Expo.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't had a hell of a lot of exposure to a lot of these trade shows. So yeah, CHFA has been a major one that I've been to.
Next year we should go.
I'll go with you. Yeah, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
awesome. I'd love
really
that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I remember, I think the first year I went, it was massive. And I think there might've been 25, 30,000 people, which to me was massive.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And then by the time my last show, which was 2 years ago, it was 80 or 85,000.
Wow.
Right. And that's just in a matter of like literally 15 to 20 years. I mean, that's how much it's CHFA used to be like, I don't know, 100 tables. It was so small. Now it's the whole freaking convention center. Like it's busy.
It's
and
impressive.
all the retailers come. All the majors, all the minors, mom and pops, if they've survived through the last 2 years of this mess.
Yeah.
Right. It's you're gonna love it. It's just
kind
awesome.
Of
and it's a great community
thing. It's neat because, you know, like you spend enough time in CPG and you really don't think, like a lot of folks in CPG, you know, you don't think that there's life outside of, you know, kind of the major retailers, the major brands, right? Like, you know, especially like me, I grew up in Fortune 500. So you kind of like, you get this in your head that, hey, there's only Fortune 500 and really what matters is the Fortune 100. And so you get a little bit of, you know, kind of snobby nose. And then you start to think there's maybe, you know, 10, 15 retailers that matter in the country, particularly Canada, right? Because we're pretty tight. But like you look at, you know, health food, and you look at all the people going to CHFA and the dynamic market and the brands that are out there, and it's amazing, right? Because there's an entire ecosystem that is, you know, like combined with the numbers that you were talking about, Hayden, and you've got this huge flourishing ecosystem that's just growing by leaps and bounds, right? Like it's actually
phenomenal.
It's really
fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's still growing at the double digits.
Yeah.
Like what the hell is?
Yeah, I have no idea. And it's really cool because I mean, we're all sort of pretty well embedded in LinkedIn and I'm sure we share a lot of the same network and you just jump on every day and you just see how much activity and how much, you know, positive conversation and networking is going on. And I'm encouraged by it. Like it motivates me. And yeah, when I do spoke to a lot of these, you know, especially these business entrepreneurs that are just getting off the ground, like they may have only been operating for 6 to 8 months, not even the 1 year mark. And it's amazing how much traction they get, you know, from such an early stage, just because getting to market has never been easier, you know, through a lot of these online platforms. You know, when I have been to the trade shows, like it first sort of started for me in 2010, 2012, around that area when I was first at Salt Spring. And it's really amazing to sort of see the trends because the last couple of years we've seen some really take off. Like there's been bone broth has really taken off, functional mushrooms, like you see lion's mane mushrooms in a lot of things these days. I'm sort of at Planted Expo. I noticed that the sort of better for you snack sort of section and, you know, gummies and so on is consistently growing as well. What do you guys expect for the trade show coming up? What do you guys sort of see the sort of spotlight to be shone on?
I think mushrooms. I think mushrooms are going to continue to grow because I think everyone's kind of realized what it could do for you. I expect probiotics, or not prebiotics.
Prebiotic,
I guess, right? Is going to be a big thing. I think those two are going to be there. I'm curious to see if there's any. You know, kind of CBD stuff.
I think it's gonna be limited,
like secondary market, right? Like
really
not what you smoke, but the oils and stuff like that.
Yeah, the tinctures.
I know that it's pre-Health Canada, like they haven't approved it, but really at the end of the day, that's what everybody's after, right? Nobody actually cares about, you know, great, we legalize this stuff that you can smoke, but the real money's going to be in the, you know,
well, if they ever get their shit together, that's where it should
all
be.
That stuff, right? So I'm curious. Those are my three, I think.
I think you guys are going to see it's going to be dominated by beverage and snack. Beverage and snack. Because it's easy.
Really awesome, right? Like,
it's easy though too. If you want to convert people into a category, snack.
Yeah.
Give me a really good chip that's good for me, or give me a good cookie, or give me a good, like a midday bar. Like give me something really good and people will move. And drink, I mean, I don't know how big kombucha will be, but you'll see lots of drink. You'll see lots of beverage and you'll see lots of snack.
We
100%.
When we had, have you talked to Jeff Smith at all?
No, I haven't.
So Jeff Smith helps out with Rise Market.
Okay.
Try to get them connected. I think he really.
Oh, is he in Rise Kombucha?
No. Rise Market.
Okay.
They sell organic foods and snacks, and so they're a retailer.
Okay.
Kind of like Spud.
Got you. Yeah.
But he's that was what he said. He said when they started this thing, that was the category that surprised them the most. Was everyone who came into Rise, the first thing they bought was snacks. And I've been cursing him since, right? Because he was on the show, and I tend to do that. But I signed on to Rise, and that's like my kids love it. Like they're on Rise shopping for snacks all the time, right? Because it's just and then I love it because they really are like they're healthier snacks, right? Like
they're better
sodium,
for you again.
They're better for you. Like the taste is the same. So now I don't.
I think you'll see a lot of that though. The other thing you guys may see is, because I don't know, again, it depends on who's there, and if there's refrigerated and or frozen, you'll see a lot of prep meals. I don't know how big it'll be
food prep, it's gone nuts
because food prep is insanity, right?
Nuts.
Especially today, because I think people again have realized that you're better off to buy the organic squash in the frozen set than in the fresh aisle. Because by definition, something that got picked in Mexico 3 weeks ago and finally made it to Canada is not really fresh anymore. They might be fresh off the truck. Fresh in the store.
Or they're picking it when it's green and it's rotting up. And
not kind of the same thing. But at least the stuff in the frozen set, it's picked and it's usually flash frozen within a couple hours.
So we always do that. That's what we do in our house.
Well, and I think you may see a bit of that there, but definitively drink and snack. Because think about it, you can drink all day and you can snack all day. And especially in the last 2 years, people have been doing a lot of that.
Honestly, but you're right about the pre-prepared meals and meal kits. Where I work at Food Pack, like we have seen a huge uptake in all of that, the equipment required, like tray sealers and so on. It's been incredible. But businesses come and go even within a short window of time, and a lot of them are working out of commissary kitchens as well, which is cool. But I think there's a huge opportunity in a huge market, and it's not only the quality of the food, but at the end of the day, I think the success of those businesses is the online platform that they build to support it. Is it easy? Is it convenient? Is it, seamless? And I think that's where the vast majority of the startup funding goes towards the technology around the whole system.
What are you expecting out of the show, Hayden? Like because you've never really gone to a lot of these shows. Where are you at?
I've never had the pleasure of walking the floor because I've always been working at the booth, and so the time on the floor has sort of been limited, but I'm just excited to get out there and have conversations with people and see what the latest trends are, exactly like the same as you, just follow my nose and sort of see what takes my interest. And I'm really excited to sample some products. It's great to have conversations and look at websites, but at the end of the day, it's the sample that really means everything. If it's something that tastes good, it's going to probably take off. And then I'm also interested to see the direction of the sort of the brands that are being developed at the moment, and the who they're targeting. I think will be really interesting through the brand that's developed. And the persona. I'm really interested to sort of see the persona of the brands that are being built in the language that they're using, because, you do look at a lot of packaging and you sort of, flip over the label and you have a look, and, some brands lead with what's not in the product, like gluten-free, and, they talk about what's not in it. And then some other brands talk about the value of their product and what's in it, and I'm sort of interested to sort of see what direction the trend has sort of gone in that space too.
That's funny. We talked to a packager, right? It's all different. It's a different way to look at the product, right?
I'm curious about that too, like, because we do have like there are going to be lots of various brands at various stages, right, of development. Are you like, I am curious about that because I like your take on packaging, because it is a little bit different than the way we look at it. Do you look for, like, are you looking for a different evolution of packaging, for example? Like, so we know a tiny a bit more about packaging, which makes us totally dangerous. But
yeah, thanks to you, by the way. So if we sound like we actually know something we don't know shit, it's your fault.
But like with the folks that are putting out new products and different packages, do you like, one, can you tell, like, because I feel like I can tell, right? Like you when you get folks that are really new to the brand, they kind of have like, almost like Amazon sourced bags, that you can customize a label for, but the look and the feel is always the same. Are you looking for certain brands like to evolve now? So you're hoping to see them change packaging or something more sophisticated, or?
Yeah. You will notice that a lot of brands and businesses will have shifted to flexible packaging just due to the ease and of, there's a couple of advantages, as we discussed in the past, of flexible packaging over a rigid plastic or a glass, for example. And right now there are shortages in this world on glass and rigid plastic, and it's really expensive to ship and it's really expensive to store. So, the advantage of going flexible is that you can store a lot of it in a very small space.
Absolutely.
And if you actually do like a full life cycle analysis of flexible packaging, in a lot of cases it comes out on top, just because it is a lot lighter to ship as well, and the carbon footprint is a lot lower. The issue, like we discussed on the episode that I was on with you, is the end of life systems that are in place and the municipalities that you're selling into. So I think down in the States, they've got a lot more traction and they seem to be a lot further ahead of the curve. Since we spoke last, I did have a really good conversation with a guy called Colin Isaacs, who is based out in Ontario. And that was a phenomenal episode. And he gave some great insight onto, the history and sort of where we're currently at and where we're moving into. And I also sort of gave you guys a little bit of insight into an organization called Repurpose Global, who help you offset your your plastic output. And you can either be considered plastic neutral or plastic negative. And I've got them coming onto the show early next month as well, which would be good. But there may even be associations or organizations at the event, actively discussing, plastic negative or plastic neutral options for you to buy into.
Here, they would definitely have it at an expo.
Yeah, I believe so.
It's drastic, but that's interesting, and that's probably, if anything, that's something, if Aaron does listen to the three of us, it would be interesting to, if people like that aren't signing up for the show, to go and solicit and grab them, because that type of thing is really important for all of us to see too.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. Like the flexible packaging, you still have, like you said, we still have the challenges of what to do with it later to some degree. Yeah. But the fact that it's easier to merchandise, it's lighter to ship when it's full and when it's empty.
Yeah, it's not going to break.
That I could bring a box of 1,000 and it takes up, like a box of oranges, where if I bought 1,000 rigid, I need a pallet.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like there's just so many advantages and benefits to it. Like there's no logic of why you wouldn't move to a flexible packaging. Like there's no sense in my head of why you wouldn't do it.
You can ask him about it tomorrow.
Yeah,
because we actually have Aaron on the show tomorrow.
Yeah,
do it. Yeah, have a good conversation with him. He'll be a pleasure to talk to in that space. But so I believe that you'll notice that a lot of products will be packaged up in flexible packaging that may not have been in the past. It's going to be really interesting to see. And, I think that there are a lot more beverages being moved into flexible packaging. There's a company out of Calgary called Rivita Energy Tea, and their product is phenomenal, by the way. And they actually launched their business with their energy tea in a flexible package as well. So like in a stand-up pouch, which was cool. So when you see it on the retail shelf, it stands out, and it's very, very, it's noticeable when it's merchandised well. It looks beautiful. You should check them out. You should have
a liquid or a mix.
No, it's a liquid, like an energy tea. Like it's like an iced tea, but instead of it being in a bottle, it's in a stand-up squeeze pouch.
So forgive me. It's going to be like a Capri Sun or a like from my childhood, like a Hawaiian Hawaiian punch a little bit.
Yeah, think of it like a you know what, the easiest thing to do is Google it and then put it in the show notes for everybody. But you need to have Mitch on your show, actually. Mitch is a great guy to talk to.
What's it called?
Rivita, RVITA. And they're out of Calgary.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got a few new SKUs as well. I think their most recent SKU is Charity. Yeah. But they're doing great things. And it's an organization and a business that they take things seriously, but they have a lot of fun along the way too. And they're very active in the community. It's cool.
Yeah. This is cool, and this packaging is like it's like you know what it's like? It's like applesauce.
Yeah,
Like the kids' applesauce comes out,
a spout
with
pouch.
a twist with a
Yep.
with a twist off. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
This is where baby food went about 10 years ago. First time I saw products like this, I was at Sea Island, either France or Cologne. I can't remember if it was Paris or Cologne. And we hadn't quite seen, like, so Plum, do you remember Plum, Phil? I think it was Plum that came out for baby things, and it was in that sort of thing. Yeah. So the first time I tried it was in Europe. It hadn't really hit North America. It was just coming. And we thought, this is the coolest way to eat like applesauce. And it was pear sauce. And it was like fantastic. You squished it through, and better than because if you've ever been in a store, face the Pablo Mile. Yeah. With fat arms. Yeah. And tight shelves, and they're all over the floor. So basically, you face a shelf of 200 jars and 50 are on the floor, and not in good shape. Yeah, these things, like the whole idea with this was awesome, right?
Because but I'm a big fan of this. Like, so I've seen like Yoplait does this.
They do like a large format in a flexible
which
pouch.
I really love.
Yeah, that's a great way to eat it.
I've seen one of the companies that does olive oil. I've seen a pack like this.
I've seen that
as
too.
Well.
Yeah,
but
and
that
obviously
one seems to come in and out, right? But I love it. Like I just don't. I wish we all did this actually.
Yeah, large format soap dispensers and refills and so on is pretty common.
Sense, right?
Yeah, but the other benefit of this of flexible packaging and putting a product in there is HPP or high pressure pasteurization,
right,
which we've got a facility down on Annacis Island here, which is brand new and it's phenomenal. So, a lot of these businesses that are packaging up soup, they may do a hot fill, but they want to ensure that they get extra shelf life without adding in any preservatives and so on. Yeah. They take it down to the island and they get it HPP processed, and it adds on quite an extensive amount of time onto the shelf. I don't, it's going to be a case by case scenario as to how much extra shelf life you get, but it's definitely worth the process and the cost. Yeah, it is cool.
That's cool.
No.
Yeah,
it's very cool.
Yeah, so no, I'm really excited for the trade show, and I will after the podcast episode, I'll walk the floor and go and say hello to everybody and taste some samples. And there was another thing. They're like superfood creamers, layered superfoods. I don't know if you know, and they've got a turmeric creamer. There are a couple out there, and I've actually got Lauren from Buzzed Nutrition coming onto the show, and she's got her version of the like a superfood creamer. And she's going to be at the show as well. Yeah, she's pretty active on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yeah.
Yeah, she has. Yeah, she's doing very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to be surprised. I think there's this pent up energy to meet people and see people again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's been because we both have had both podcasts have had people who've launched during COVID. Mm-hmm. That really nobody has seen yet. Buyers may have seen, but en masse because there's been no shows.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of really cool and interesting things, I think, come out of the show. And I think what you're going to be really happy about is how strong the industry still is after this 2 years of fun that we've gone through.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Right? It'll be interesting to it'll be interesting to sort of see what everybody is discussing as their sort of major challenges that they're working through right now. Like obviously, the cost of labor has increased, supply chain, food security, locking all of those things in, lead times. Like there are a lot of challenges, thin margins out on the retail shelf. It'll be really interesting to sort of have those discussions and see what people are, facing right now, and see if there's anything else that sort of seems to be on the horizon that seems to be a challenge as well. Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be something.
Yep, no doubt.
It's all good. We always seem to bounce back. We always find a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
That's awesome.
No, it's very cool.
It's going to be really exciting. And then I'm stoked. I'm actually going to be able to meet you in person.
Yeah.
Which I've not done. So literally we've got 229 episodes, and I think I've never met 200 of them, I think.
Or more.
Or
like
more.
That, isn't it? Yeah.
Actually, it's kind of like, oh my gosh. So there's a lot of people to meet. It'll be fun.
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I really do. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a good weekend. Should be a lot of people around.
Yeah.
It'll be all good, man.
Bring it on. And it'll be here. So what do we got? We've got a couple of weeks up our sleeve, don't we? 2 weeks, roughly?
Barely. Like 2 weeks today, tomorrow, right? I guess. Really? Like 2 weeks today?
Yeah, the 21st doesn't start really until Saturday.
Oh, sorry.
But the actual the talks and the sessions and things like that. And then there's parties in the city too, right?
Yeah.
Again, a lot of these people haven't seen each other in a couple years, right? So I think it's going to be good. And then the bars will be busy downtown.
It's going to be great. Yeah, I know.
It'll be a lot of fun.
The Tallgrass after party is always the one to go to. I don't know if you ever been to that one.
To be honest with you, I've never been
renowned.
to a party.
Yeah, renowned.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For years it's been going on, but I've never been.
Yeah.
I usually I used to in the old days. I used to get some fancy vendor to take me out for a nice dinner.
Put on your disco shoes, mate.
Yeah. No, I don't do that, man. Okay. No, thanks, buddy. No, it's not going to happen.
I'm concerned.
Not in your life.
I don't know what Kenny would look like in disco shoes.
Yeah,
that kind of worries me.
We'll never know. We will never know.
I'll keep my phone handy. I'll let you know.
Yeah, there'll be some photos come out.
Yeah. I'm going to let everybody know right now. If there's photos from these two clowns, it's all Photoshop. It's all bullshit.
It's a deep fake.
We control the social media, so you can say what you want, but
you two control the social media.
If it gets posted,
look at you two.
That's all that really matters. So.
We'll do a collaboration somehow.
Yeah, light it up. Have some fun. Do whatever you want to do. Like I care. Whatever makes you happy.
Awesome.
Oh man,
all good, man.
This is awesome. Thanks
that was great. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time, gents. I really appreciate it too.
Connect with the food execs, and maybe we'll see on the Friday.
Yeah. No, that would be great.
I think it'd be interesting to see, especially with Aaron talking to the group, because our group, the food execs, is still more conventional. But I think it'd be super interesting to see what he has to say and what his take is going to be, or where the conversation goes. So
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, it'll be good. And the other thing that I found really fascinating, and for a lot of the listeners out there that may not be familiar with the CHFA and all of the great things that they do, not only is it a trade show, I mean, like that only accounts for 8 days of the year between the one on the West Coast and the one on the East Coast. Right. Throughout the year, they've got a lot of other interesting things going on, and educational pieces and platforms and, meetups and stuff as well. So definitely check out the website. It's a great resource. And I think that for anyone working in this space, they're mad not to become a member of the association for the benefits that it, brings along to your business as well. So do it.
Yeah. And then, so if you're listening to this, swing by, see Hayden on Saturday. We'll be recording on Sunday, and then I'll throw links. I'll throw links to the episodes, to your podcast as well.
Well, thank you.
And all the episode notes. So
great.
Yeah.
All right, gents, it was a pleasure. Thanks for your time.
Hayden, always a pleasure talking to you, my friend.
You
See you
too.
in a couple weeks.
All right, take care. Bye.
Are you staying on or are you gone?
Yeah, stay on for a minute.
Okay, ciao, Hayden.
All right, have a good one.
Hayden.
See you, boys. Man. Bye.
Okay.
That's cool.
It's always cool. Hayden's always just such a nice guy,
he's
right?
Such a nice dude.
Yeah, I like him. He's just and he's such a podcaster. He's got all the questions. Like, he
does. Look at him.
We look not good with him because he's prepared. He's got stats and he's looking at shit.
No. But listen, it's not us. That's not us. And he.
Well,
I think he makes us better that way. But that's not us. Like, if we start bringing stats, like our guys would be like,
I'd stop listening to us. Seriously, come on. But I do like listening to him because I find it. He's got such a different way to approach things. I like it. I think
he's got a way about him. So
I just something about him. He's a nice guy, right? And I do. I find it. I like listening to him.
Yeah. I like it.
I like listening to you too, Phil. But
sure. Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for listening. I'm going to stop this recording.
Okay, but good night, everybody.
Good night.